Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the predictions for 2023 for Virgo moon or Kanya Rashi. In your horoscope, moon is in Virgo, which is why you are called as Virgo moon or Kanya Rashi. I am presenting all the 12 houses that are there in astrology and also the significations for each of the houses. That way, if you see your screen, you can understand the areas of life that are going to be in focus for 2023, right? If you look at the year that has gone by, 2022, it has been a relatively better year compared to previous years, primarily because of seventh house Jupiter. Jupiter is in the own house. From there, Jupiter sees your Rashi, which is very good. A strong Jupiter aspecting your Rashi would have ensured a lot of positivity. Okay. Saturn is also in a good house. From 7th, Jupiter sees the 11th house of gains. Okay. Also sees the 3rd house of courage, fame, and action. All those things would have been positively influenced to some extent. Saturn is also reasonably well placed. The problem area for you is 8th house Rahu. Okay. Why I'm highlighting is this is going to be there. Rahu and Ketu are going to be there till September end. September end of 2023. Okay. That's another 9 more months. You have to put up with Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are problematic planets. They are shadow planets that are considered in Indian astrology. Western astrology do not consider Rahu and Ketu. So I'm just highlighting it. Okay. We don't, Indian astrology, does not consider external planets like Pluto. For yearly predictions, we are looking at only 3 transits. Saturn, which takes 2.5 years to change from one position to the other. Jupiter takes 1 year, Rahu Ketu takes 1.5 years. Other planets like Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, they are not considered because they change positions frequently. So the opportunity for them to influence your life is relatively lower. The more time you spend in a particular place, the more opportunity you get, right? So the same logic we are also using. Okay. So with that, let's get into the 2023, right? So the first change is in 17 June 2023. This is a super duper transit for Virgo. Why am I saying it? The key word for Saturn is restrict. Okay. What is Saturn going to restrict? Your enemies, death, and fights. What more you want in life? So, long-standing diseases, you can find a cure. Long-standing loan problems, you may be able to settle one way or the other. The problems you have been having for a long time, maybe in office or relationships, that also you can manage easily with Saturn coming to 6th house. Okay, that's a huge benefit. Among all the positions for Saturn, 6th house is the best, right? Saturn is a planet that restricts things. You don't want Saturn to restrict your longevity. You don't want Saturn to restrict your wealth. You don't want Saturn to restrict your courage. You don't want Saturn to restrict your happiness or intelligence. You want Saturn to restrict enemies, death, and fights. No. That is why 6th house Saturn is one of the best placements for Saturn. Okay. Such a best placement is going to happen for the next 2.5 years. Make the most of it. Solve long-standing problems in your life. Saturn is going to be there for 2.5 years. So you get ample time to address enemies, debts, and fights in your life. Okay. Many of you get good jobs. Many of you start new business. Many of you start seeing gains in your business, right? All those things are possible, right? Keep that in your mind and make the most of it, right? The next one is Jupiter. Jupiter going to 8th is not all that positive because the key word for Jupiter is expand. While Saturn restricts, Jupiter expands. What is Jupiter going to expand? Is going to expand Saturn's Some of you may get inheritance, insurance money. Be prepared for transformation. Transformation need not be good always. Sometimes transformation can be painful too, right? Shame, fear, all those things are associated with 8th house, and Jupiter is going to expand, right? Which one Saturn is going to, Jupiter is going to expand depends on your horoscope. Jupiter will also expand your secrets, right? We don't want secrets in life. Secrets are a pain, right? You know that. So from 8th, Jupiter is going to see the 12th house. Jupiter is going to see the second house, which is good. Jupiter is going to expand wealth. Your sudden wealth can come into your life, right? Wealth in any form is good for us, right? As long as it is legal. So Jupiter will ensure that wealth comes suddenly. It could be due to inheritance, insurance, or other such things, right? Jupiter also influences happiness, right? It expands happiness. Okay. But 8th house Jupiter, wherever Jupiter sits, it creates problems. Wherever Jupiter sees, it expands, right? And Jupiter coming to 8th house creates some kind of bad luck. 9th house Jupiter is considered the best of lucks, right? The good luck. The opposite of that is 8th house Jupiter. So some kind of bad luck could operate in your life, right? So please take care of that, especially starting April. See, Saturn is coming to one of the best positions. Jupiter is going to not so good positions. That's how 2023 is going to be. Okay. What about Rahu and Ketu? Already Rahu, Ketu are there, right? They are giving some form of the other trouble, in the areas of wealth, speech, and all that. So from 8 and 2, they are going to go backwards. Jupiter and Saturn, they go forward. Rahu and Ketu go backward. Where are they going? They are going to the first house. Mind is also denoted by the first house, no? So Ketu is a spiritual planet, brings aloofness, loneliness, dejection, right? When it is through dejection, aloofness, loneliness that Ketu gives spirituality in our lives, right? Ketu wants you to be detached. Ketu says nothingness is everything in life, right? If you are a man into a lot of spirituality, Ketu coming to first house is very good. But if you are a highly materialistic person, like most of the people in the world, first house Ketu will be very problematic. Okay, so please take care of that. Rahu coming to 7th house, Rahu will create problems in your relationships. Okay, especially personal relationships like marital relationships. Take care of that. Okay, so your Rahu could create problems, with your significant other, right, spouse, and you could experience dejection and loneliness. Very bad combination, right? That is how 2023 is going to be. So if you look at 2023, Saturn transit is looking very good, right? Jupiter and Rahu Ketu is not looking good. So one will balance the other. So you can kind of manage, right? 50-50 is what I will say as far as Virgo is concerned. Please keep that in your mind. It's not going to be a bed of roses. Okay. You can ask, if I don't have enemies, debts, or fights, or related problems, why do you think I'm not going to be happy? Well, you can feel lonely, no? Loneliness can be troubling to many people. We need problems in life. If there are no problems, do you think we can accept that fact? We cannot, is the truth. It is easy to say, I don't want problems. Assume for a moment if there are no problems in your life, what will happen to you? Just imagine for a moment. It's a very troubling thing if you go deep into the psychological aspects of not having problems in life, right? That is what Ketu will give, right? No problems, a state in which you feel nothing. That is also a problematic thing for most of us because we are in a highly materialistic life. We want money, we want recognition. Okay, So it's going to be 50-50 as far as 2023 is concerned. What we have seen thus far is a general predictions. What we are going to see now is some kind of specific predictions, right? For this, I am taking planets that may exist already in your sixth house, what are called as natal planets, right? Like natal Saturn, natal Mercury, and stuff like that. So these natal planets will work with transit Saturn. Transit Saturn is coming from 6 to 7, no? Sorry, 5 to 6. Transit Saturn will work with your natal planets, that is, planets that are already existing in your horoscope in your sixth house. Okay, that's what we are going to see now. What if there are no planets in your sixth house? Whatever I'm going to say may not be that much applicable, right? So let's start with Jupiter Venus. If Jupiter Venus is already there in your sixth house, in your natal chart, that is at the time of your birth, if Jupiter Venus existed in your sixth house, Saturn that is coming from fifth house will interact with Jupiter Venus and give the combination effect or the interaction effect. It is actually a very positive one, significant material gain, right? You're going to experience significant material gain at the same time feeling lonely due to Ketu here, right? Because Jupiter is also involved, there will be some kind of suddenness as well. This is how things operate, right? No planet works in isolation. All of them work together. Please remember that. Okay. Jupiter Venus here is considered very strong because Venus gets exalted in 7th house and Jupiter is in the own house, right? So planets closer to exaltation own house is also considered strong. Keep that in mind. For these people, Jupiter Venus in 6th house in your natal chart, money will come from all sources. Suddenly, it's as if the roof of your house is opened and the god of prosperity is pouring all the money into you. That's how much you can, that's how good you can feel. Okay, it's an extremely positive transit for people with Jupiter and Venus, right? The next one is Mercury. Mercury is there, you can get to start new ventures, new trade business, export import, agency business, all those things you can start. But watch your speech. Mercury is the planet of speech. Saturn comes, means Saturn will give some trouble. You could be misunderstood, right? You plan to send a WhatsApp message to person A. What if you sent to person B? Or you might have wanted to use certain words in your WhatsApp message, or when you are talking, you may end up using some other words that may not convey the true meaning of what you had intended. That is also not good, no? So watch your speech. Your problems could start from what you speak. If Saturn itself is here, right? What will be the effect of transit Saturn with natal Saturn? If Saturn is here, you are likely to be of age 30, 60, or 90, or closer to that. How am I saying this? If Saturn takes 2.5 years to cross one house, there are 12 houses. 2.5 into 12 is 30, right? That's how I'm saying 30, 60, 90. So planets come here, right? Transit Saturn engages or interacts with natal Saturn and creates significant change about which you will be talking even after 10 years. But the process of change will be very challenging, just like how it is challenging for the butterfly. Once it was just an insect, no? A butterfly that flies freely was once an insect, no? So it is almost like a new life has been created out of an existing one. So what I'm trying to say is the changeover process will be challenging, right? If let's say you get a job, in a new location where people normally do not speak the language you speak. People don't drive on the side of the road you are used to driving. So it's a totally foreign land, right? So you need to get settled, right? You need to understand the changes. You need to go through the process of change before life becomes a routine. So the changeover process is challenging. During the changeover process, you may even think, hey God, why did I get this change? Why did I take up this new job? I was far better when I was in my hometown, right? It's a good change, it's a promotion, but the process of changeover is very difficult. That's how people with natal Saturn will feel. Natal Saturn in 6th house will feel due to the effect of transit Saturn on natal Saturn, right? Significant change. If there is Rahu, Ketu, Mars, or even Sun, it's going to be problematic. I said 6th house Saturn transit is good, but if you have Rahu, Ketu, Mars, it is not good because Saturn considers Sun and Mars as its number one enemy, and Rahu is considered to be like Saturn, Ketu is considered to be like Mars. Rahu is already darkness, Saturn is even more darker. So if two dark planets are there, that is Saturn plus Rahu for you. If Ketu is there, it will create a break and then something else will start over. So if Mars is there, right, you can expect physical fights, sometimes verbal fights. If Rahu is there, it's as if there is pitch dark. Let's say you have to complete an important work, right? And it's pitch dark. Or let's say you're trying to cook and it's pitch dark. How will you cook? You will make some mistakes, no? And you will not like it. That's what could happen when Rahu is there in 6th house already. If Mars is there, fight. Ketu is there, some kind of breaks or problems in profession, and then a start over. Okay. Ketu, sorry, if Rahu is there, darkness, I already mentioned. If Sun is there, ego clash, but it can also give promotion in job. Okay, but significant ego clash. People with Sun here can also expect government jobs, if you are trying for a government job. Okay, because Sun Saturn combination is good for people in higher positions, okay, government related work and other things. So ego clash with whom? Superiors, father, government entities. Let's say you got a fantastic promotion, but your boss thinks, a new boss thinks very badly of you. He thinks you are a misfit. You shouldn't have been promoted. How will you feel? And let's say that boss is a person, with a bad temper. He can even throw papers at you. Such people are still there, okay? By the way, how will you feel? That is Sun Saturn for you. So this is how natal planets in 6th house, existing planets, already existing planets in 6th house in your horoscope will interact or combine with the transit Saturn and give you the results. I have taken only Saturn because Saturn stays a longer time, so the opportunity for Saturn to give that interaction effect is that much more. Okay, and the strength of the interaction effect is also that much more. Okay, so that's how 2023 is going to be. As I said, it's going to be a mix of good and bad, right? So I wish you a best of luck and a very happy new year once again. Thank you.